Good evening, everybody. Just a quick one. It's 11:50. Sorry, 10:52, and there is no markets open right now, so markets are closed. I was not able to trade today. Had to leave my house very very early. Was up from about 6 a.m., 6 7 a.m., and I wasn't able to stream. Had to, so much I had to do. But I want to first say that I'm grateful. This is now day 114. When I started this, it was on a whim. I first wanted to hit 365. That was my goal. And I just said, why not make it 1,000? 3 years. And by that 3 years, I expect to make a certain amount of money. Even after 365, I expect to hit a certain figure. And it's been a ride because behind the scenes, I'm still fighting a lot of different things. Different cases, different lawsuits, etc. I think I've been kind of quiet on it just so I don't want to get in trouble, but also because they're some of them are unresolved yet. So it's been very difficult, but I just kept going forward. I didn't let it stop me, and we're turning up every day. So I'm here today just because I cannot let a day pass without me turning up. I don't care where I'm at, what it costs. I gotta show up in some way, in some form. So I didn't trade today, but I can review and go over yesterday what I saw or what happened. So we changed our bias for DXY. We've been bullish for a very long time, ever since we tagged into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of consolidation, but we expected a bullish push to take out this swing high over here, which was following the tag or the drop into this weekly fair value gap. Yes, there's a daily below, but I did believe the weekly would have been enough. So we had been bullish on DXY for a while, and you can see here that would mean that we would have to be bearish. But in that wanting to be bearish, we've been bullish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of the 6 days, only 1, 2, technically 1. This isn't really fully bearish. Only 1 day was bearish. Now, I understood it being bearish up until this point, which was the top of the fair value gap. And price was bearish from here for 1 day and then went up. So it was wrong for the bias this week. And like I said, one of my weaknesses that I need to improve on is my daily bias reading. And the second thing is when to enter. As in, what would be the cause? I have seen so many liquidity sweeps and it not be valid. So, and then a third weakness, which I've kind of noticed, is what classifies as institutions involved rather than just literally meaning that it's a fair value gap, you know? So I just got this water from the freezer, and it's probably one of the best waters I've had in a long time. I've had very lukewarm water recently. They say it's good for your voice, but I can't. It's disgusting. So, the trade I went over was, I believe it was EU, right? Yeah, Euro USD. We had seen that now we changed our bias to bullish. The reason why I went with buys on EU is because it made more sense. The reason why it made more sense is because the weekly fair value gap is from here to here. So from that red line to this tripled up line here, which is over here. So this is the weekly fair value gap, which we haven't come up to. So it would make sense for us to be bullish up into that zone, which was my thinking as to why, okay, if I'm going to change direction, this one makes more sense. GU didn't really make as much sense because we had already filled this area here, and this being a swing high, I don't expect price to come above it, albeit that I expect that this bearish move to continue. So whilst this is bearish, creating these low lows and low highs, I don't expect any of them to be broken as long as I remain bearish. So with that concept, I went into Euro USD and I saw that, yeah, sure, there were some ideas for sells in GU coming up to the peak of the optimal, well, not optimal, but the highest point where price should really get to before it starts going down again. Like it shouldn't go any higher than what it is. So there was more steam in Euro USD. So this was around New York Open. We had London being swept. This is the London sessions low. And then when I got swept, we then had a push higher. That push higher broke structure over here, which is swing highs. One swing high here, one swing high here. Both of those areas got broken. Price then retraced into this fair value gap, and it went a little bit deeper. But if we set our stop loss to below this first low and then some, our target being a London high would have been to 1 to 2.64, and you would have made profit in theory. Now, I didn't do this. I was a bit, what's the word? Technically riskier, but I went to a smaller time frame, and the 5 minute, we had the first candlestick being here and then some. So 5.5, roughly something like this, which just tagged me out, which is saying it below this first candlestick contributing to this fair value gap. So we zoomed in basically. Unfortunately, price went further down, which is fine, and then went up. Came up all the way here, came back down, almost to entry, and then daily dallied, went back down into drawdown, and then guess what happened? Asia session delivered to take profit. It's a weird one to get an Asia delivery, but it did happen. So the idea was right. Target got hit, and then price reversed. So that was yesterday's trading, and I think we're going to probably take the next week to study again. Just go over the Scout Sniper video series, and then we've established what our weaknesses are. I think we're in a very good place that we know what the weaknesses are. We just now need to fix the weaknesses, which would mean going and looking for the answers. So that's what the next week is going to entail, and it will cost a lot of work, but it'll be worth it. And I think having these times to reflect gives you the best place to get the best advice, best direction, best guidance, is when you reflect on your own decisions. Reflecting on somebody else's decisions is good for studying because you have something to gain, you have somewhere to start, but to reflect and gain knowledge from what you've done is even better, as long as you have the concept to understand where you went wrong and the concept to know what the answer should look like. Not that you know the answer, but if you understand what the answer should look like, you know where to go. It's like if I want to buy a car and I go to a car dealership, that's probably where the answers will look like, because they have many cars in the area. They have a reputation of selling cars, knowing the cars. So if I need advice about what car to get and I go to a car dealership, I would think I'm in the right place. Now, wisdom would tell me if I want a Lamborghini and I go to Mercedes or Ferrari, for example, they may be a bit biased, right? But other than that, if I want to buy a Lamborghini, I go to Lamborghini and I want them to give me an opinion of which Lamborghini to get within my budget, I would expect them to be the best people to go to. So sometimes I may not know what the car is, but I know where to go to get the answer to the car I need. And similar to that is in trading, that you need to develop the skill. Every one of us, including myself, need to develop the skill that you can go and look at your own mistakes or even your own successes and look for weaknesses. Once you find those weaknesses, you need to know what the answer looks like, because once it comes your way, you would need to be able to grab it. And the reason why I say that is because there's many fake gurus, there's many fake ideas, fake answers in the internet. So when you go looking, the answer may appear to you, but if you don't know what it's meant to look like, you will grab the wrong answer. So it's a skill you need to develop. And how do you develop that skill? One of the ways to develop that skill is to continue learning. When you have the posture of learning, you will sometimes pick up the wrong answers, right? But what happens? You keep learning. So then those wrong answers now become right answers because you keep learning. It's like in school. When you get the answer wrong, you may get the same algebra wrong over and over again. But what do you have to do? You have to keep learning, keep practicing. How do you learn? You go to the textbook. You go to different sources. You practice. Underline that. You practice. So a lot of these things and tools are what we use to improve. And that is one of the ways you can develop the skill, by being practical about it, by practicing it. Practical and practice are the best friends, right? To be practical is to practice. So people say, oh, that's theory, that's theory. What do I do practically? You practice it. You practice everything I just said, practice everything I just taught, right? So it's interesting. The practical exam is you practicing. Think about that in driving. They call it the practical, they call it theory. Theory is the is theory. It's just, you know, what do you do with X, Y, Z. But the practical is you driving. How do they do the practical? They put you in the driver's seat. Isn't that interesting? That they teach the way they pass you is by letting you do the thing. It's very rare, but I like the system, and it works. It works. It works. It works. It works. So that's about 10 minutes of waffle. I wanted to do at least 10 minutes of talking, but again, I'm here just to show up. I don't want to stream today. I would have loved to have streamed in the morning, and I would have loved to have traded today. I'm not saying I would have made money or lost money. I just would have loved to have traded. Then I wasn't able to, but I'm able to show up, and that's what I would do. So here I am, and this is transparency at its finest. You know, I'm not lying. I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. Just showing you the truth and being transparent about it. But it's been your boy CJIC. This is probably the last you'll hear from me for this week. Obviously, being the weekend, there's no markets open. I leave those 2 days off. When I study, I tend to sometimes stream me studying. I will be studying tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll stream it. Tomorrow we're gonna start off, gonna do some gardening. Might take me 2-3 hours. I'm gonna start around 7-8, probably like 8-9 actually, because I don't want to wake up the neighbors. And then that'll take me to about 12. Have a little break, relax a bit, prepare for Sunday, and then we'll stream, and then we'll get off, and then we'll chill and prepare for tomorrow's service. So that's my plan for the weekend, and I will catch you guys on Monday, potentially tomorrow. And I will see you guys later. It's me, your boy CJ.